in Connecticut, we have legalized same-sex marriage, and we've said that not to allow it or to allow civil unions is pernicious discrimination. And so it is a civil right, and we should start there intellectually, that same-sex marriage is a civil right, and the history of African Americans with civil rights is a unique history and clearly is not the same, but many of the tenets of fighting oppression, that is the same. And the oppression that I have as a gay person is a different kind of oppression that I have as an African American, but oppression is oppression, and we really need to have equal justice for everybody and treat everybody the same.
So you're not saying that you're comparing the civil rights movement in the 50s to what's happening now for gay rights?
No, I think, you know, it's a different kind of discrimination. It's a different kind of oppression. Certainly, you know, we've had the right-wingers use, Mike Huckabee just was on a show and said that, well, you know, they haven't, gay people haven't been bashed in the skull or had to endure a fire hose. Well, it's a very different experience, and you can't compare the two. What we want to do is we want to look at the rationale between the arguments, and we want to look at, are we discriminating against gay people in this country? Sure. Do we have hate crimes against gay folk? Yes.
Well, Jason, let me for a minute bring it back to the black issue, because you've been quoted saying several things that triggered this whole segment idea, which I find very interesting, just about sort of you call it the DL, the down low, and it's all the black men that live quote unquote straight lives. They're married, but they are gay, but they don't want to come out of the closet. Explain this DL culture to me, and how big is it, and why is it that way? I mean, you of all people are such a role model to the black community. I mean, you've come out, you've been reelected, you're a parent. So explain this mentality to me.
Well, I'm also the only open state representative in the country, which, you know, is kind of a shame, that's out and gay and black. And it took me 41 years to come out. So that's, you know, in some ways a long time to actually be able to say, you know, I'm gay and I'm black and kind of deal with that. So there's a lot of folks, a lot of men that I know that just can't tell their parents, cannot tell their family. And some, unfortunately, live a double life, get married, have kids, and, you know, turn 30, 40, 50 years old and decide that they're gay, and they're finally going to recognize that. And others will stay in the closet forever and be with a woman and still what we call a creep, go out and have sex with a man. So that's a conversation that just really started a couple of years ago that we began to have, and it's a conversation we need to have more of. You know, the high incidence of AIDS and HIV in our community is also disproportional, and it's because as a community we haven't had this conversation. Within the church we haven't had this conversation. We haven't affirmed people so that we can talk intelligently, so that we can protect ourselves with HIV, so that we can you know, deal with the various issues and allow people to come out and feel comfortable within our own communities, so that, you know, and once we do that, we can begin to have a new discussion and begin to recognize that same-sex marriage is a civil right, and Jason, also do something about AIDS and homelessness with our youth and all the other issues. And
real quickly, because we've got to go, but I just want to get your quick insight. Now Barack Obama, first African-American president, you know, the black community was in tears that night, saying, okay, you know, it's finally happened. He's a role model. What do you think for the black gay culture? Could Barack Obama becoming president affect that as well?
Well, I hope so. It remains to be seen. We had a serious incident over the course of the campaign where Donnie McClurkin, who's formerly gay and decided
gospel singer, right?
Yes,
I've interviewed him before. Yeah.
He kind of was gay, and then he's not gay, and went through this whole, you know, change. And there was a whole incident, and all the black churches were coming together in a gospel concert, and Barack Obama had to choose, you know, am I going to be affirming for African-American gays? Am I going to remain quiet because some in the black church want me to? And so there was this kind of incident. And my hope is that he's going to be the most affirming president on LGBT issues. And my hope is that he's going to look back and look at a person like Bayard Rustin, who helped Martin Luther King organize the 1963 March on Washington, and affirm the black community, change the conversation, change the construct of how we speak about these issues, recognize that same-sex marriage is a civil right, which he has a way to go on that. And it's important that he does, because the right wing uses President Obama, elect Obama's words against same-sex marriage and to some extent against the gay community. So it's very important how he eventually falls on many of these issues, but I'm extremely hopeful and very proud that he's going to be leading it.
And we'll be seeing what the courts do with regard to overturning Prop 8 as well. Jason Bartlett, Representative Connecticut, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.